Resignation versus invention. Often we lean into either resignation or invention. Let's imagine for a moment a situation occurred, a situation you didn't plan for, you didn't want. You would say, I don't like that. And one option is to go into resignation. Maybe what's happening reminds you of something else that's happened in the past, something you definitely don't want to have recur. And the natural tendency is to resign. Oh no, not this again. Let me withdraw my participation. Let me self-protect. Let me pull myself back. And maybe sometimes that is a good choice. But there's another choice that is also, I believe, always available, and that is invention. And invention starts with, let me be with what actually is. Let me be with reality. And from this reality, what are some choices that I could make? What are some new choices I could make? What is a creative response that I could have, given that this is actually happening? Being with what actually is and choosing from there. This is the playing field. Now what? How do I get to play on this playing field? Let's look at a couple of examples. Let's say in a business setting, a lot of businesses, a lot of my clients are talking about this possible upcoming recession. Yes, it could happen. What are some options if the recession comes? We can all pull back. We can plan to scale back, to reduce our expenses, to plan to have less income, less customer base, less economy going on. And that's possible. Another possibility is reinvention. What could I do given that this is a possibility? What else can I reinvent or create to serve the needs of my customers, of my clients, even if this does happen, in the middle of this even? How could I create something that is so valuable that it would be worth investing in the middle of a period of time when many people are pulling back? Now, maybe it's not in business, maybe it's in your personal life. You're in a relationship, you notice a certain pattern or dynamic, and in your mind you say to yourself, oh no, not this again. And you pull back out of the relationship. You withdraw. You guard yourself to make sure that whatever that thing is that you've resigned to, that you've decided is probably coming your way, doesn't happen again. Another possibility is to get curious. You think you identify a pattern? Ask, investigate, see what else is there, and then make a choice out of the reality of what's there, not about what you fear could be there. Now, it could look like investigating, being curious, wondering with the other person involved, because maybe you've made some assumptions. Well, let's say you've probably made some assumptions, because we all do. It could also look like self-inquiry, elevating your self-awareness. What's actually going on for you? Are you in a future-based conversation? Are you in a past-based conversation? Are you right there in the present moment, being with what is and trusting that finding where you're at in that moment will lead you to something new? If you investigate it, if you look at it, notice your own automatic responses. Does it have to be automatic? Can you create some space in between what is happening and the response? Or do you find yourself wanting to validate what you've already decided is true about the situation, about the other person, or about yourself? When you think about resignation, what does that mean to you? Does that mean re-signing your responsibility over to the circumstances? Because that is one way to think about it. Does it mean giving up or just saying, I can't do anything about this? What about invention? When you think about inventing, about creating, what do you think about or who do you think about? Some of the most amazing inventions in the world, in history, were made during times of constraint, because constraint often fosters creativity. But sometimes when we're in an experience of constraint, we don't think creatively. We want to pull back or we want to give up. And instead of giving up, what would it look like to dream with new possibilities and new choices? So if this big recession does come our way, what are you going to do? Are you going to give in to the tendency to resign, to pull back, to hunker down, to try to wait it out? Or do you have the curiosity and the courage to reinvent? To say, okay, here it is, now what? Now what's possible in this scenario, on this playing field? Because you always get to decide the way you play, even though you don't always get to decide the field. Resignation or invention. These are options. These are choices that we have. Notice which one you automatically gravitate towards. If this video was resourceful for you, if it opened up some new ways of thinking, please like, subscribe, make a comment, ring the bell. I'd love to hear from you.